Is the test hard?
Yeah, it's so hard. I tried to make it really, 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 really hard.
Why?
I don't know. I like to see you guys struggle. I'm just kidding.
We have a laminator at school. We should laminate this.
We do have a laminator, but I think it's broken right now.
I should get some of that. I could just get because the nurse wants me to bring this to school from now on. You know, photocopy.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Wait, are you vaccinated?
Before that, yeah. That's the reason I get bored.
So you're immune?
All right, I'm going to take a moment to get attendance going here and just kind of organize a bit. Take a moment to put your phone away. You can open up your Chromebook.
I'm gonna wear a mask. That doesn't really make sense though. Does it say that if you have the vaccine, you can still transmit it?
How did it fall?
What?
How did it fall?
I'm not really sure.
Okay, we're not in business, we're in chemistry, just gotta tell you.
Yeah. Apple?
We'll be outside of practice today, right? We didn't rain, but it's.
What? Mine. Yeah.
All right. Here we go. Couple important updates here. Number one, just to review, this is week 15. We only have 18 weeks of school, so we have 3 more weeks, twice a week. I see you after today a total of 6 times. I only see you 6 more times this year after today. So it's important that if you need help, if you're falling behind, or if you just want to boost your grade, that you communicate that to me so I can help you the last couple weeks here. Okay, because I'm sure it always happens the last week. All right, that's when lots of students contact me, and my time is then very compressed, and I don't have enough time to help everybody. Plus, coaching, I don't have time after school, and so things get very, very squeezed. Okay, so I won't always be as helpful at the end of the year as I can be right now. So make sure that you contact me. So Monday, we had 6 pages on ClassKit that I wanted you to complete. Many of you have turned that in, but if you haven't, make sure you turn it in and get some points. Wednesday, you didn't have an assignment other than to complete anything that you haven't completed. So hopefully use that time to turn in a couple of missing assignments, or correct some assignments that you lost points on, or finish your Monday assignment. Today, we're going to spend some time reviewing, and then we're going to take a test. Okay? Then the next 2 weeks, we'll prepare for another test, and then we'll get ready for our final. That's the rest of this year here. Okay, that's kind of the plan. So, get as many points today. I mentioned it earlier in the week that I was going to shut down old assignments yesterday. It occurred to me yesterday, after you take the test, if you have some spare time, it would be a good time to do assignments. So I'm going to shut them down tonight, all right? But today is the last day. So after the test, if you have some spare time, go back, find some old assignments, get some points in, all right? Get as many points today as possible. Put yourself in a good spot so it's not so stressful the last week of school. Let's see here. Anything else that I needed to go through? Oh, if you are like on the border and you want me to open up some old assignments for you, let me know specifically which one, okay? So I'm not just going to, on the last week, all of a sudden open up everything, because I'm going to get hundreds of things turned in and I won't be able to keep up with grading. But if you're like, hey, Mr. Z, can you open up Wednesday 331? Yeah, sure, I'll open that up for you so you can complete that and turn it in, and then I'm going to shut it down once you turn it in, okay? But you need to ask me specifically what assignment you want open, or maybe a specific week, but don't give me like a whole month. Like, can you open up every assignment from February? No, I'm not going to do that. Okay, I'll open up certain ones that you can complete, and once you get them done, I can open up more for you if necessary. All right, that's like the rest of the year, kind of just like updating, like housekeeping type things. I'm going to give you time right now to work on your review. So if you click on Thursday 5/6, go to class kick. Should look like this. I'm going to give you time to complete pages 1 and 2. I have grade reports that I updated this morning that I'll hand out to you. After the test is complete and updated, which should be today, I'll send home grade reports. Okay? So, you guys have work time. All right? Get as many things, as much done as you can today as possible. Don't waste time. If you're stuck, raise your hand. I can help you. Thursday 5/6. Yep, you guys have time to work. Go.
More dense, more dense objects, more mold. Yeah, but we use that to figure out.
Well, no, we just had to find out like how much something is, like it's a, measure like kind of like a dollar, like if you have
Micro amount.
that sounds like over like.
That's an A plus. Hey, is this a very scientific, smart word, micro amounts?
It's not accurate, but it is science.
Was that pretty good?
No. I would say this is really small.
They covered on this.
Wait a second. What is the question?
Why it is more important.
All right, here's what I would do. You could say measure either large amounts or small items. Yeah, because it's a large amount. It's a very big number.
Yeah, or if you are a lot of something.
Yeah, so we got, I, you know,
So when it says to find the moles and it gives me grams, when I do this, that's to find molar mass or the mass.
What's the molar mass?
So if it's 110 grams, I do that times 110 times this.
To find moles.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for mass, wait, you're looking for
I'm on
moles.
7.
7. This one right here. Okay, so you are looking for moles. So you're gonna put the mass on top and divide it by your molar mass.
So this divided by 110.
Opposite. 110 divided by 9. Yes.
So when I was doing the homework on Monday, I kept getting like numbers that were like a little bit off from the actual answer that was like posted on the page. Is that okay?
Were they like molar mass problems?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It just depends on the periodic table. You use this one or the online one.
Yeah, because I use those resources.
Yeah, they're slightly off. So it should be really close. But yeah, if it's not exact, that's okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Can I go to my locker?
Yeah. Go pass this. There we go.
Finding grams and finding mass.
Yes.
I just want to make sure I got this right, but so when it's like this, I do the like box and then NA and the times you and add it all up. Take that number and divide it, or divide that number by that to get this.
Yeah.
Okay. So
We're going over the review there.
Yep.
I feel like number 12 is wrong. Is that way too big of a number?
Yes.
Okay. I'll go find it. We should use that 1.3. This number. Use 200. What would be times those numbers?
I'm confused about this.
That one you're gonna have to use two triangles. So the first triangle that you use, no, it's gonna be the other one this time.
The mass, the molar mass. I forget the last one. So
This one will be molarity, volume, and moles. Liters is your volume. So you're gonna find the moles using these two numbers. And then you're gonna use the moles in the molar mass to help you find the grams.
okay.
Okay? All right, my plan is to give you a couple more minutes here to kind of finish up the review. If you're a little behind here, you don't think you're going to finish, raise your hand. I can help you kind of push you along here a little bit, and then we'll go through the review together to kind of prep us for the test here. All right, why don't you pop back to your assigned seats here if you're not there already. I'll kind of go through the review. You can follow along with me if there's anything that you got incorrect. You can spend some time correcting it as I go through it. And if you have any questions as I go through, feel free to stop me. All right, first question. How many items are in a mole? What that means is like a mole stands for a number. What number does it stand for? How many things are in a mole? Who thinks I know here? How big is a mole? Uh-oh. How big is a mole? Yes.
Is it the 6.02?
Yeah, 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd power. So what that means is we need to move that decimal point 23 times to the right. So it'd be 602 and then 21 zeros after. An enormous number. Very, very big. Good. Number 2, why is the mole important or useful to chemists and chemistry students? Why don't we even talk about the mole? Why is that number important or helpful? Tyler.
To measure large amounts of small items.
Good. It helps us measure a very large amount of something. Okay? So 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd is such a big number. No one's ever counted to it. A computer has never counted to it. It takes a computer millions of years to count to it, and they can count to 800 million or whatever in a second. Okay? So it takes a very, very long time. No one's ever counted to that number. But we can use math. We can use relationships between numbers to compare, all right, very large numbers and make it easier to understand. So if I have 2 moles and 4 moles, I know 4 moles I have twice as much. Yes? Yeah, if you fill out a pass assignment for it. All right, so it's useful to help us count a large amount of things or to help us compare very large amounts of things. Now, I have in the past, I relate a mole to a dozen pretty frequently. All right, but they're not the same thing. A dozen obviously stands for 12. A mole stands for this number. But how are they similar? Why would I compare those things to each other all the time? Yeah. Yeah, they're both a word that stands for a number. All right, and they're not the same as far as mass is concerned, which brings us to number 3. Would you expect a mole of iron and a mole of calcium to weigh the same amount? Let's do a quick vote. How many of you say, yes, they should weigh the same amount? How many of you say, no, they should not weigh the same amount? All right, most of you say, no, why? Why is it no? Why wouldn't they weigh the same amount? Good. There are different types of atoms. So some atoms are heavier than other atoms. A calcium atom is heavier than an iron. Actually, I think iron is heavier than calcium. Okay, they have different masses. I'll have the same amount. I'll have 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd iron atoms and 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd calcium atoms, but one is going to be heavier than the other. Okay, kind of like ostrich eggs and chicken eggs, right? If I have a dozen of both, I have 12, but obviously the ostrich eggs are going to be heavier. They're much bigger. Okay, so then number 5, what's the molar mass of copper 2 hydroxide? Okay, I think off the top of my head, if I remember from the previous class, is it like 97-ish? Okay, I'll just write 97-ish. Okay, how do we get 97? What process do we need to go through? Yeah, Nate.
Just Cu plus O plus.
Good. So here's a key idea. Anytime you see the word molar mass here, that tells us we have to use a periodic table. That's the tool that we must use to find the molar mass of anything. So if I look on the periodic table, copper is 63.546. So it kind of hurts to write with my mouse as I stand up here, so I'm going to abbreviate a bunch. 63-ish. Oxygen is 15.99 times 2, because this 2 distributes through the parentheses. That's kind of tricky. Remember, the parentheses, the 2 goes to everything inside. And then H is basically 1. So we got to do 63 plus 16 times 2 plus 1 times 2. Add them all together, and it should add up to be 97-ish, 97.5. Depending on which periodic table you use. So it might be slightly different. Some periodic tables will just say O is 16.0. Some say 15.9. Some say 15.999. Whatever you use, it should be close. Yeah. Well, because the O is inside the parentheses, this 2 distributes to everything. So it does go to the H and it does go to the O. Did you do maybe O plus H together and then multiply by 2?
I had C plus O plus H plus H.
Double check. Maybe. Did other people get 97?
Maybe I just did for the second one. I don't know. I have the right answer.
Yeah, I think it's 97. Yeah. Yep.
So, when there's like two, elements in parentheses, most of them get divided by the little number on the end.
Not divided, multiplied. But yes. Yep. So if I had something like this, H parenthesis C O, we'll say this is kind of tricky. 3 parenthesis 3. That 3 goes to everything in there. So it goes to the C. So we have 3 C's, and then we have 3 O3s or 9 O's. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Yes. If it was just like this, HCO3, that 3 only goes to the O, nothing else.
Thank you.
Yep. All right. Good. Now, number 6. What's the molar mass of Si? Well, it says molar mass, so that means we got to use the periodic table. So we look up Si. And it's only one thing. There's no subscript. There's no other element, so we just got to copy this down. The answer is 28.085. Nothing special about it. Nothing tricky other than maybe it's just too simple, but we just copy it down from the periodic table. Now, number 7, A, B, and C, they all have the same process in solving them, but with just different numbers. So here's common mistakes I've seen on homework. Okay, using this triangle, making sure you're putting things in the correct spot. If you don't put the number in the correct spot, the triangle is going to tell you to multiply when you should divide, or divide when you should multiply. Okay, and it's going to tell you what order, which one goes on top, which one goes on bottom when you divide. It's going to tell you everything that you need to know. So 1, you need to know how to use it, and 2, you need to know where the numbers go. So we are looking for moles. Okay, find the number of moles. So I'm going to cross that out. So I need to put something in for the mass, and I need to put something in for the molar mass. Molar mass, periodic table. Those 2 things are always linked. So just like we did above, we're going to do the same thing here. 3 times H, which is 1. We're going to do just P, which is like 31-ish. It's a little less. It's like 30.97. And then O, which is 16-ish. Again, I'm just abbreviating because I write slow and very sloppy with this mouse. What's that? That sounds about right. So here, this is, let's see, 15 times 2 is 30, 60, 60, I'm sorry, 60, 70, 80, 90. What'd you say it was?
63.996.
No, for A.
Oh, is it 97.994?
Could be. Yeah, so this is going to be about 30-ish. This is going to be 30-ish, so that's going to be 60. Oh, wait a second. No, this is gonna be, yeah, 60, 70, 80, 90. This is gonna be 94-ish. Is that what you said? 90, 97?
Yeah.
Is that what you guys got? Okay, I'm just rounding in my head here. So, all right, so it should be like 97. Okay, that's gonna be our molar mass here. This 30 grams, I didn't even circle it right. Okay, that goes in our mass up here. So now what's separating them is this, oh, thank you, is this horizontal line, which means divide. So we're going to take 30 divided by 97-ish, and you're going to get a number less than 1. It should be like 0.3-ish off the top of my head.
I did
What did you get?
3.27.
3.27?
Yeah.
Did you put 97 on top? Yeah.
This is 30 divided by 97, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, then.
Okay, yep. Common mistake. Putting the wrong one on top, wrong one on bottom. So make sure molar mass, that's the thing that you get from the periodic table. Okay, that one always has to go on the bottom. Okay, so then B, we do basically the same thing. 110 goes on top now because this is our grams. And we got to find the molar mass of this. So we have like 23 plus 1 plus 12 plus 16 times 3. So this is like 35-ish, 45, 47, 48, 60 something. I'm rounding here, so I could be off. Let me try it again. Yep, you're right. 84-ish.
Pretty bad estimated, 20 off.
Yeah, I think I forgot this one here. 84-ish, that goes in here. So you're going to do 110 divided by 84. That should get you 1 point something. 1.3 for B. This one's a little tricky just because when you first punch it into your calculator, the number's kind of funky, and most students, when they look at that, they go, that's not right, and then they try to do something else, all right? But it is a really, really small number. It's like 0.0068. That's what I got. And the way you do that again, you put 1.1 on the top. I'll change colors here again. 1.1 on the top. You need to find the molar mass here, where iron is 55, almost 56. Again, this is really rough estimating. 35.5 times 3. That's 70, 105. Like 160-ish. 160 down here. So you do 1.1 divided by 160-ish, and you get 0.0068. All right, now, number 8. We're doing something a little different now. Now we are looking for the number of grams. That's our mass. So I'm going to cross that out. So I'm going to take my moles and I'm going to multiply it by my molar mass. So I still got to find molar mass like I've been doing on the last 3, 4 problems here, 5 problems where I use the periodic table. So I got to look up copper, which is like 63.5. Then I got to add 2 carbons, so like 24-ish. It's bad for. And then 2 nitrogens, which is like 28-ish. That's like 115-ish off the top of my head. And we're going to multiply that by 4. And we get, in the end, I got 420 something, I think. No, 462. 462.328 is what I calculated in the end. But it's going to be like 4 times 115-ish. Maybe 112, somewhere in there.
No, you're right.
Was it?
115, probably. I think it's 0.58.
Oh, sweet. All right, now 9 on the next page. is just branching off what we did on the last one. So we're still using the same triangle here. We're still doing the same thing. The numbers just end up being different. So remember, we have mass up here. We have moles here. And we have molar mass here. So now 5.6 moles, that goes here. Multiplied by the molar mass, which is 12 times 6 plus 1 times 6, 24, 50, 75-ish, plus 6, 80 something. $78, something like that. And again, I got like 400, what was it this time? 437.
Estimation's getting better. It's 78.5.
And then this last one here, this is a really big number because we have a lot of moles. So now we're going to do 21.3 times, I don't know what barium is off the top of my head. What is it, 137? 137 plus 12 plus 16 times 3. 30, 45, 55, 57, 81. Close to 200, 180 something, 190 something. $197. And so here I got something that was like 4,203.3. That's really sloppy. Deal with it. Okay. So just using the triangle here. Now when we get down to here, we're using a slightly different triangle. So it's important, again, to make sure you're putting things in the right spot. Moles used to be on the bottom, but now in this triangle, moles goes on top. And we have molarity. And then depending on the triangle, sometimes you'll see a V here for volume. And then sometimes they'll put an L there for liters, but it means the same thing. Okay, so we have 0.3 moles, that goes on top. 0.2 liters, that goes on bottom. 0.3 divided by 1.2 is 1.5 for our concentration, for our molarity. Number 11, we are now looking for moles. So if I cover that up, we're going to take molarity times our volume. So now we're going to take 1.5 times 5, and that gets us 7.5 moles. Now 12 and 13 are pretty tricky because we have to use both triangles. So we have this triangle here, mole, molarity, and volume. And we have a second triangle over here where it's molar mass, moles, and just mass. Okay, that's sloppy, but what else? Okay, now the only thing that these two triangles have in common are the moles here. So we're going to use one triangle to find moles, and then we're going to take that and we're going to put it in the other triangle. So if I look at this, I need to find the molarity, so I'm crossing out molarity. 200 grams, that's my mass. I can find the molar mass here, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, with a molar mass. And I have the volume here of 1.33. So what I'm looking for in the end right here is this molarity. So I need the moles divided by the volume. But I don't have the moles yet, but I can calculate it over here. So if I do 200 divided by 28, I think it's like 7. Is that right? 7.14. Goodness gracious. And then that can go into this triangle. So now we take 7.14 divided by 1.33. And in the end, that gives us, I think I calculated it here. No, I didn't do that. 7.14 divided by 1.33. 5.37. Then number 13, we're doing the same basic thing. Actually, we're going to do it a little backwards here. So now I have the volume at 0.87, 0.87. I have the molarity at 2. I can find the molar mass. It's not going to be 28 anymore. And I need to find the amount of grams. So here I'm going to calculate my moles, 2 times 0.87, plug it into here, and multiply that by the molar mass. I didn't calculate that one. Did anyone find that one? What'd you guys get for 13? What'd you get?
128.7.
128.
Are we taking the test, sir?
Yeah.
Okay.
We got like 30. Right? Yeah, we got 30 minutes. So then the only other thing that I wanted to point out here, okay, remember concentration is like density, where it's how compact the particles are. So B has the higher molarity here, the higher concentration, all right? But this one has more solute, or more things dissolved in it, and it has more volume. So it has more space for those things to spread out, for that solute to spread out. We could get them to be the same concentration by doing one of two things. I could add more solute to A, I could concentrate it more, or I could dilute B, which means add more water to it and give it more space for those particles to spread out. Okay? Any questions here before we start the test? Anything you want me to go over or ask about? Yes? Down here? More solute? A has more solute because it has more dots in it. Good question.
Wait, I have a question.
Yes?
So how can you tell again which one has more water and which one has more solute?
So volume is the space that it takes up. So A takes up a lot more space, so it has more volume. And then solute, that's the dots. A has more dots than B, so A has more solute.
Okay.
B is more concentrated or has a higher molarity. So that would be 14 way up here.
So that's why you have more volume?
What's that?
That's why you have more volume?
B doesn't have more volume. A has more volume.
Oh.
B only has a higher concentration because its particles are more compact.
Oh.
Yep. All right. Any other questions you guys want to ask about before we get started? Yes. They're on the test. All right. So you guys can start the test. There should be 2 versions. If you can see 2 versions, take the second version. If you can only see one, take the first version, obviously. Big reminder, don't forget to screenshot your score at the end and submit it. Okay, a lot of you forgot to do that last time, so don't forget to do that. Otherwise, the rest of the time is for you to do the test, complete it, do corrections if necessary, or at least start them. Good luck. Feel free to use scratch paper for the math. Feel free to use the whiteboard if you'd rather use a whiteboard.